The ranked mode update is finally here, and it's the biggest update in years in Clash of Clans, with all new leagues and rewards that will change how all players play. But it's complicated. I mean, seriously complicated. In my time as a creator, it's the most complex update that I've seen, and I've been through both equipment and the clan capital update. But don't worry, I'm gonna make this so easy for you guys to understand that even a 5-year-old could get it. And I'm not just gonna be talking about the basic information of how it works and just showing you some of the gameplay. I'm gonna use my years of experience to discuss rewards, how they progress through different leagues, how the new achievements change our meta for upgrading accounts, and how I think ranked mode will affect strategic rushing. What I can guarantee is by the end of this video, you guys are gonna become ranked mode pros. So let's get started. Now, before we talk about the specific details of how to maximize the new system, you need to know about how the basics of the ranked and battle modes work. As you guys know, we are now going to have a split between normal battle mode and ranked mode. Battle mode is super easy. You can do endless attacks in it, and opponents are matched based on your town hall level. The stars you get from the battle mode will contribute to your star bonus and your league bonus. Now, the battle mode attacks aren't real per se. You're not going to get hit a million times a day or anything like that. The attacks are basically on a snapshot of your base. As I mentioned yesterday, you get a magic shield that will last 8 hours, and while you have this up, you won't lose any real loot from your base. And aside from that, there really isn't that much else to say about battle mode. It's rather simple. Ranked mode is definitely a lot more complicated, so let's go ahead and start with the general idea. There are 11 new leagues in ranked mode, with each of these having 3 levels, kind of like how we had Crystal 1, Crystal 2, and Crystal 3. Now, these progress like troops in the game, and this is kind of how you can think about it. The order is Fresh Meat, Rookie, Marksman, Spellslinger, Raider, Challenger, Smasher, Commander, Stormbringer, Veteran, Elite, and Legend League. Now, Legend League doesn't have the 3 modes. It's pretty similar to how Legend League is right now, and I'm going to talk about the specifics in a little bit. But for everyone else, which is the majority of players, this is how your league is going to work. Every week, you're going to sign up for a weekly tournament, which will place you in a league of up to 100 players. After signing up for that tournament, you'll have a certain amount of ranked attacks to do in that week. You will also take the same amount of defenses for that week. After the week is over, your league will be shifted based on your performance. Now, that's a general overview of how ranked leagues will work, but let's go ahead and talk about the specifics of each of these categories. First off, the league sign up. On Monday, the leagues will reset and you will go to whichever league you are supposed to go. After that, you can sign up for that current week anytime between Monday and Thursday. If you sign up between Friday and Sunday, you'll be actually signing up for the following week. Now, the thing is, you don't have to sign up for a league either. If you choose not to sign up for a league, you won't be penalized for 1 week. However, anytime beyond that, and you'd get into league decay. This basically means from the second week on, you'd be going down 1 league every single week. This is meant to keep you playing and of course to reward the active players. And honestly, I kind of like this feature because it does give you some breathing room, but it ensures that active players are rewarded. Okay, so great. Now you've signed up to the league. Now what happens? Now, based on the league that you're in, you're going to be able to do a certain amount of ranked attacks and also take the same amount of defenses. And this chart that I made summarizes all of that information for you. Now, each individual attack that you do will get you up to 40 trophies. And the reason for this is because the current ranked system is going to use the old Legend League system for attacks. In this system, stars are the most important thing to get for trophies. If you get 1 star, you can get anywhere between 5 and 15 trophies based on your percentage. If you get 2 stars, you can get anywhere between 13 and 32 trophies based on your percentage percentage, and a triple earns you the big 4-0 trophy. Now, that's the same as it's been in the past for Legend League at least. What's different though is the fact that you can actually earn trophies on defense. For every trophy your opponent does not get in an attack, you get an equal amount in defense. Let's say your opponent attacks you and only gets 25 trophies. The remaining 15 trophies they didn't get would get added on to your defensive trophies. This makes defense really important in the new ranked league system. By the way, just a quick intermission, this video literally took over 12 hours to make, and that's not even with the editing. So if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so let's say you did all of your attacks, you went through the whole thing, right? And then Monday comes around, which is league reset day. What happens to you now? Well, based on how you did, you can either get demoted, you can maintain, or you could get promoted to another league. Now this chart right here breaks down the amount of people that are going to get promoted and demoted within the league. If there's a range, that means between the first level and the third level of that league, this changes. I want you guys to focus on the fact that starting in Golem League, you actually have a lower percentage of people getting promoted than the percentage of people getting demoted. But the highest percentage of people is always going to be those that are retained within a certain league. And you guys can see that in this chart right here. And because of that fact alone, it's actually going to be pretty competitive and hard to move into the higher leagues. But now you guys are thinking, wait, BD, wait, how am I going to keep up with those higher town hall levels when they're either attacking my base or when I have to attack them? Well, Supercell has addressed this with league floors. Basically, the moment that you upgrade your town hall, you're going to be locked out of certain leagues and automatically be promoted to the town hall league floor. Now, these league floors can be seen in this chart right here. No matter how much you lose, no matter how rushed your base is, it does not matter. If your town hall is at this level, you cannot go below these specific leagues. This helps the lower leagues continue to still be competitive, and they're not being competitive because of those higher town hall levels, more so just because of the format itself, and I think this is a really good solution. So that's pretty much everything for the mechanics of the normal leagues, but what about Legend League? How is that gonna work? Legend League, for the most part, pretty much works the way it did previously with a few changes. First off, the Legend League season will always last a flat 4 weeks, and this way it'll be synced up with the other league systems. And in Legend League, instead of doing a flat, however many attacks per week, you will be required to do 8 attacks per day, just like the current system. If you don't sign up for Legend League, however, you'll still have that same league decay system that I talked about, so you do have that 1 week grace period, but you do need to sign up. Now, when it comes to getting demoted from Legend League, it's actually a pretty smart system. Before the week ends on Sunday and the new league determinations have been made on Monday, you need to have more than 4,900 trophies to stay in Legends League. If you fall below 4,900 trophies, like on a random Tuesday or something, it's completely fine as long as you get above 4,900 by the time Sunday comes around. And this makes sense because we're supposed to be done with those other normal leagues by Sunday, so if players do get demoted, they'll easily go to Electro Dragon League. And that's pretty much it for Legends League, right? Wait. Didn't Supercell say they were gonna make the Legends League battles a lot harder? Well, how are they gonna do that? Let me go ahead and introduce you guys to battle modifiers which will apply to Legend League, E-Drag 1, and E-Drag 2. This chart right here summarizes the battle modifiers that we're going to get. Primarily, the defending heroes are going to be stronger and the defending defenses are going to be stronger, while the attacking heroes are going to be weaker. As you guys can see, each level is a little bit different as you go higher and higher in the leagues, and it starts to get a little bit harder as you move up. I think this is a great solution to the problem that some players found the standard mode of the game just way too easy and others found it pretty hard. And to add additional practice, you can actually have the ability to trial each of these difficulties in friendly challenges, and this also includes esports mode, which is even harder. With this new tiered system, you can start practice with what hard mode feels like, and this will actually give you a wide range of skill expression in the game, which I am all for. Okay, so now truly we are done with explaining the basic mechanics of the new ranked system. But the question still remains, where will you start when the new ranked mode comes in? Okay, so first things first, if you guys remember the league floors chart that I showed you a few minutes ago, if you're really low in your trophies, you're just gonna be moved up to your league floor when the migration happens. However, for those of you who have been playing, I made this chart right here, which shows you where you would land when the migration happens based on your town hall level as well as the amount of trophies that you have. What you'll notice is that for some of these town hall levels, there is a range of trophies you could have and also a range of leagues that you can have. So if you're at the bottom range of trophies, you'll be at the bottom league, and vice versa. If you're at the top range, you'll be at the top league for your town hall level. Now at the bottom of the chart, you guys can see how the brand new Legend League filtering is going to work. The top 100,000 players are all going to be put in Legend League. Players between 100,000 and 300,000 are going to be put in League 33, and players between 300,000 and 600,000 are going to be put in League 32. Now when I look at this chart, I can easily tell that the biggest determining factor for where you're going to end up migrating is your town hall level, and this makes sense simply because the league floors system is in place. Okay, so now we understand the how, the what, the where of ranked leagues, but why? Why would we be going through all of this every single week? There's three primary reasons. The first is for the prestige. The new profile will look like this on screen, where you're gonna have the current league that you're in, your all-time best placement, and your highest league from the current system. Below that, you'll have the legacy system from the old trophy system with either your Legend League stats or your general trophy stats. The new Legend League stats will look like this window right here, and it'll actually give you a placement number on top instead of having a big old number on top of the shield. Now that's great and everything, but that's not everything when it comes to prestige, especially for the lower town hall levels, because for the first time ever, we actually have an in-game mechanic that will actually see how you compare to other people in your town hall level. This is probably one of the best features in this update for lower level players, and I'm really happy that it is part of this update. Now prestige was just one of the reasons you want to be in a higher league. The second reason is so you can earn gems through new achievements. The old League All-Star achievement is going to be removed from the game, and with it, the 3,250 gems that you used to be able to get. Now this is kind of critical because those gems were really important in unlocking all 5 builders early in the game, which was a key mechanic. That being said, we are getting a number of new achievements to the game, which basically reward you gems for achieving certain leagues. If you look at this chart right here, it actually shows you how many gems you're going to achieve for getting to a certain league. And it's kind of interesting because we actually get 3,600 gems in total now instead of the 3,250. Additionally, this graph right here shows you how many gems you get as you progress through the leagues. And guys, you can see there's a huge spike at the higher league. Now it is harder to get to those leagues, which is kind of tough because you're not going to be able to get those builders early on a new account, but more gems is always a good thing. But look, enough of that. Let's talk about the main reason you guys are going to interact with these new leagues. Reason number 3 is the rewards. There are 2 general rewards you can think about when it comes to your league: league bonus and star bonus. This chart right here shows you how the league bonus changes, and it shows your gold and elixir in thousands as well as your actual amount of dark elixir. Now what you'll see is that there's a huge range on some of these, and the reason for that is because as you progress through town hall levels, you'll actually get more and more bonus, which is a new mechanic. What I've seen is at the highest levels of the league bonus, we're getting a little bit more than we did before, with the highest being 400,000 gold and elixir and 2,800 dark elixir for town hall 17. Now when it comes to the star bonus, we basically get the same exact change. There is a little bit of a higher cap, with the higher star bonus being 1.25 million gold and elixir and 6,000 dark elixir for Town Hall 17. But again, not only does your league affect the amount of star bonus that you get, but your Town Hall also affects the amount of star bonus that you get. The question becomes, between these two factors, which is the most important, your Town Hall level or your league? It actually differs between both star bonus and league bonus, as you guys can tell in this chart right here. Now these aren't exact and pure numbers for every level, but they are pretty dang close. And what you can see is that for the most part, the league plays a bigger role, but the Town Hall doesn't play a insignificant role either. If we graph this out, we can see that the highest inflection when it comes to these resources happens somewhere between Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 14. But let's go ahead and address what's probably the most important thing when it comes to star bonus, and that is easily the ores that you are going to get. Now, unlike the resources for the star bonus and the league bonus, when it comes to ores, your Town Hall level does not matter at all, and the only important thing is the league that you're at. Now, I cannot emphasize how big of a deal this is. I think it would have been a huge mistake if the Town Halls did influence the amount of ores that you got from your league. This chart right here is the amount of ores that you are going to get depending on your league and only based on your league. As you guys can see, we do have starry ores available now, and you can get either one starry ore per day from leagues 8 to 30, or you can get 2 starry ores per day from leagues 31 and above. Now when we look at the behavior for the shiny ore graph, we can see that at about league 25 or so, there is a little bit of flattening for the graph. So the majority of the spike is before then. But if we look at the glowy ore chart, it's actually rather constant, and there are some bumps, but it is pretty smooth overall. Now obviously the goal is to be at the highest league possible to get as many ores as possible, but maybe you go ahead and check the migration chart and ensure that you are at least above league 25 to get as much shiny ore as possible. But yes, finally we do have another way for you guys to get starry ore in the game, and I think it's going to be really helpful and it'll add up quite a bit for active players, so I'm really excited about it and I hope you guys are as well. So we've done it. We've finally covered all basics. I think a lot of you are here to learn how your upgrade strategy is going to be affected by the new ranked system and how to progress through the ranks really fast. So let me go ahead and break that down for you. First off, let's go ahead and talk about league progression. What you guys need to know is that progressing through these leagues is going to be painstakingly slow. This is because it's going to take an entire week for you to go up another league. Again, look at this chart of promotion, demotion, and retention. What you guys can tell is that the majority of players are going to retain whichever league they are in, and that means we're not going to be moving around quite a bit. So because progressing is really hard in the new system, you should literally spend the day that you're seeing this video just pushing as high as possible, because even if you're ahead one league compared to before, that's going to be an entire week's worth of grind later on. Aside from that, there is one way that you can actually progress through leagues faster than once per week, and that is through upgrading your Town Hall. You see, once you get to a new Town Hall level, if you're not already at the league floor for that Town Hall level, you're immediately going to be promoted there. And that means you can skip a bunch of leagues early on simply by upgrading your Town Hall level. And considering how this is going to get you to a higher league, which means you're going to be able to get more ores, I think this is going to be really significant. This is going to be really significant for rushers because within weeks, you guys are going to have a higher Town Hall level, and that's going to help you a lot when it comes to skipping a bunch of leagues. Now, a significant Town Hall that you guys really want to get to is Town Hall 12. And the reason for that is because if you look at this chart right here, the league floor for Town Hall 12 is Archer 2. Archer 2 is League 8, and that is where you start to get starry ore. And because of that, it's going to be really important that you get to that level as quick as you possibly can. So rushing to the next Town Hall level is actually going to become one of the fastest ways for you to progress to the next league, unless you're of course already above that next Town Hall level's league floor. Aside from that, it is going to become really slow. So I would recommend pushing as high as possible and using this migration chart to set yourself a goal by the end of today. Now, when it comes to actually progressing through your league on the week-to-week basis, there are a few things that I can recommend that'll help you make your attack stronger. First of all, you need to triple. period. The difference between a 99% 2-star and a 100% attack is 8 trophies. That's literally 20% of the trophies you can get from an entire attack. This is why if you're going to be using any power potions or hero potions for your war attacks, you want to double up and try to do your ranked attacks at the same time so that you'll give yourself the best opportunity to triple. And look, worst case, even if you're not tripling, please just make sure not to 1-star. Now obviously in the modern game, heroes and equipments are really important when it comes to offense, and now it's a positive feedback loop even more than before, so it's going to be really important. Let me go ahead and explain. The strength of your equipment will allow you to do better in leagues and promote to higher leagues. This will allow you to get more ores, and then this will also make your equipment stronger. Thus, getting access to stronger equipment is going to become really important, and if you haven't been spending your gems on those pieces of equipment, then you might want to consider doing that. Luckily for you guys, if you migrate into a higher league, I'm assuming that a lot of those new achievements will automatically be completed, which means you might get an influx of gems to use for whatever you need. Regardless, it's no surprise that offense is going to be important, but defense is also going to be really important. I would go as far as to say this is the first time in my experience playing Clash of Clans where normal defenses outside of wars were this significant. Let's start with the basics. If you're trying to avoid 1-stars, you want to make your opponents get as many 1-stars as possible. This is because 1-stars will only give you a max of 15 trophies, even if you get 99%. And if the attackers are getting 15 trophies on offense, this means you're getting the remaining 25 trophies on defense. Because of this, anti-2-star and troll bases are just going to become completely meta in my opinion. This is a really fun point for me because I personally love these bases and they're so fun when people are completely messing up on them. When you're using things like invisibility towers or like a ton of walls to separate your town hall, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But it's not just going to be effective for the one attack that you're defending. In fact, there are some details that I've been holding out on you guys until now. What happens if you don't take all of the defenses that you can and you don't get attacked as many times as you're supposed to? Well, instead of giving you free trophies, the system will take the average of the defenses you did take and apply them to the rest of your attacks. Now you see why it's important to try and get those 1-star defenses. Not only does it save you from that one attack, but it also brings your average defenses down, and this makes it a lot easier for you in the case that you don't get attacked. And my skeleton players who are like getting 6 attacks per week are probably thinking, okay, that's not gonna make that much difference, I'll probably get hit 6 times. But the guys all the way up in Electro Dragon League are doing 30 attacks per week, so it is possible they're not gonna take a number of their defenses. Alright, so the next topic of discussion is heroes, and you guys know in the past that I've talked about not upgrading your heroes because you could still perform well in wars and you didn't need them for the normal mode. But from now on, I don't think that's viable anymore. You simply have to upgrade your heroes because if you don't, not only will they be weak on offense, but they're not going to help you defensively. Because of this, I'm going to have to completely rework the hero upgrade guides as well as the strategic rushing guides, and that's something I'm going to be working on as soon as I'm done with these next few videos. For my rushers out there, don't worry that your heroes are super low because you probably got to higher trophy levels as a result, and then when the migration happens, you're going to be in a higher league regardless. For those of you wondering about the 2025 strategic rushing guides, I've actually been holding out on them quite a bit, and I'm actually going to be incorporating all the time reductions as well as the league information so that they can be updated as much as possible for you guys within the next few weeks. Now, one of the things that you guys have to think about is if we do get the achievements completed automatically, which is what I expect, we're going to have a ton of gems out of nowhere. And some of you guys might be thinking, hey, with those gems, I should be buying the equipment for gems, or you know, I should be investing into my own helpers. And some of you guys might be thinking, hey, with all those extra gems, I should be buying some of the new equipment, or maybe I should be investing into my helpers, but that's not what you want to be doing in this time. And if you want to know the best way to use gems within the next 2 months, then click on this video right here because I go over all the things we need to do to prepare for Hammer Gem and the Town Hall 18 update and how you can maximize that process.